PWCC is a great way to sell your sports cards. If you're looking for a way to support the Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel, consider using the promo code Cajun, all caps, C-A-J-U-N, when you're selling your cards on the PWCC marketplace. Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with another mail day. It's mail day number 99. You should be catching this on a Sunday. I think mail day 98 should go up yesterday. That would have been on a Saturday, and today's a Sunday. Not the sexiest mail day here. I actually reached on a couple of smaller Jordan cards just to kind of put stuff together. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I went a little aggressive in the PWCC Weekly on some very low-end cards. And again, in the grand scheme of things, it may not matter, but just wanted to put a couple of these PSA 8 cards. These are primarily Tier 4 MJ Hierarchy Project Jordan cards, you know, in the PSA 8 range, even a PSA 7 Atomic that I picked up. So I won't waste any time. I'll show you, but first I wanted to show you another great homage t-shirt. If you guys want to support the channel, go into my YouTube description and you can buy some of these. Let me try to stand up so you guys can see that. It's just a nice Joel Embiid action, right? Homage sent me this. Don't tell them, but I would have done the sponsorship for just the t-shirts. That's how much I love the shirts, and my kids love the shirts as well. And so some of my older boys also wear a large. So as Homage sends me the shirts, I get the shirts here at my office. I wear the shirts, I do the video, I promote Homage on my website because I'm an affiliate sponsor of theirs. And then the shirts go home, and then somehow they disappear, and then I see them on, you know, a 16-year-old Cajun, 22-year-old Cajun, 23-year-old Cajun. My 3 oldest boys are swiping all my shirts. Luckily, none of them cut the sleeves off yet to let the guns show, so the shirts look to be intact. I couldn't get them back, but they're having fun wearing the Homage brand as well, and I think you guys would like it. You guys need to check it out and click the link. And every time you purchase on the homage.com website through my affiliate link that's in my YouTube description, you help support the channel. All right, here we go. Mail day number 99. Let's get cranking. As always, I've got a shareable link created on my PWCC Vault, which is another affiliate program that I am with here with the Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel. The first card we're going to look at is going to be the probably the biggest and the best card in the lot, and it's not the greatest card in the world, but it's a PSA 7 Atomic Refractor. I reached pretty big on this card. If I had to guess, I paid $300 for this PSA 7. I just, you know, I was doing the hierarchy project. I was putting the pack odds together, and then I noticed, you know, that the pack odds on these Atomics are crazy, man. 1,920. 1 in 1,920 packs. Of course, it's got the next Jordan, right? The first of the next Jordans, the Kobe, the Stackhouse, Vince Carter. Who am I forgetting? Who else was the next Jordan that was never the next Jordan? I can't remember, but there's a long list of the next Jordan guys. So Stackhouse on the back, Jordan on the front, the way God intended. Obviously, significantly off center. I think there's probably a tinge of green if I had to guess, and that's the primary concern along with the centering. That's the primary concern on this card. Ironically enough, I also picked up the PSA 10 Refractor Class Axe in the New Orleans airport on my way to the National for my good friend Brad, who is at NOLA Collects on Instagram. Go give Brad a follow, at NOLA Collects. One of my best friends in the hobby, one of my travel companions to the National 2 years in a row, and a great dealer here from the local area. He's with a group of guys down in New Orleans that often set up at the Dallas show, and they go to every National together as well. Just some really good guys and some really good sports card dealers. But anyway, I'm digressing. PSA 7, I paid $300 for this card. It's probably more than I should have. It was a pretty significant reach. So that's the first card on the list. Next is the triple threats. A little known insert. I discovered it just doing the hierarchy project, right? Just kind of plowing through Tier 4. I was like, man, this is a good looking card. It's the Skybox Premium, which is one of the premium, you know, products of the 90s that yielded a million zillion different phenomenal inserts. On the back, you can see Rodman, you can see Pippen. As a superb season as Michael had, intangibles set him apart. He always had an eye on Rodman. reinforcing anything positive in terms of composure. Concurrently, Scottie Pippen credits much of his development to Jordan's tutelage. So, triple threats, those are the big three, right? Rodman, Jordan, and Pippen. And it's funny on the back how basically they say Jordan kept Rodman in line, and that was kind of one of the highlights. So it's card number TT11 from that set. It's a PSA 8 copy, so not tough to get. I did not fork over a very large quantity of money to pick that card up. Next, you guys know I'm just inching closer, taking step by step. This is the Mesut Ozil, who's a phenomenal passer and a great midfielder for the German squad. Obviously had a nice run in Arsenal, and is probably getting up there in years now. He's probably playing somewhere, but nowhere super relevant to the best of my knowledge. But he is a German legend and one of the great midfield passers that's come out of Germany. Probably overshadowed a little bit by Kroos and a couple of those guys. But this is his autograph, and it's a PSA 9. Like I said, I want the set in PSA 10, but damn, man, it is very tough. So I have resigned myself to the fact that I've got to pick up placeholders in PSA 9 to get the set complete. And then if I want to upgrade 9s to 10s or 8s to 9s and 8s to 10s, along the way, I can. But as you can see, this is a pop 14 and 9. There's only 4 PSA 10s out there. There's got to be 4 German people that collect cards that want this card more than me. And so for that reason, I'm sitting here still looking for the PSA 10 and had to be satisfied with picking up the PSA 9 right there. Next on the list is another baby. It's the 93 Fleer Sharpshooter, not plural and not 2 words. 1 word, Sharpshooter. It's a PSA 8. You're talking about a $15 to $25 card. I just love the look of the card. I've got multiple copies, which I will confess and show you. Here's my pairing. It's complete. I do have the PSA 10 right here. And so there's your PSA 10 copy, which is a pretty good card. The pack odds on this are unknown. Google it. Look it up yourself. Go to Beckett. Go to Trading Card Database. Go to whatever source you want. The insert pack odds are unknown, and so it's the only pack odds where when I put the project together, the hierarchy project together, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, just go to my channel, go to playlists, and look up Michael Jordan hierarchy. It's kind of a big deal that I'm working on. I put together one of the biggest pack odds lists in the world, and I'm still putting it together and verifying the accuracy of the data. This is the only card where I could not find pack odds. It wasn't that there was differing opinions on the pack odds or conflicting results. Literally, it says unknown. It's inserted in an unknown quantity at an unknown rate in certain packs. And so I thought that was interesting. But I like the look of this card. I just think it's a good-looking card. I like the Sharpshooter design down there. I've talked about this card on my channel before because I've picked up numerous copies. As you can see, if we go back to the list, this is my third PSA 8. So PSA 10, decent 3-figure card. PSA 8, PSA 8, PSA 8, $15, $25 card. Absolutely nothing special to see there. And by the way, here's just a look at how bad I reached on that Class Axe atomic refractor. I don't really know, honestly. I don't hand raise. I just reached on it. I don't know what I was doing. The last one sold 175, 150 before that. I paid 300 for some reason. I don't know what's going on with me. I think I just wanted to check the box and mark a card off the list on my hierarchy project chase. So real strong reach on that one. I confess in every way. Next on the list, the hot list. I needed the 8, so I picked up the 8. Still looking for the 10. There are more than one hot list Jordan cards. This is the 95 hot list. Kind of hard to tell. The card's a little more colorful than the 2D image would lead one to believe. But in the background, you see the H. The O is huge, and it's almost like a circle, kind of like window pane circle behind him. And then the T is down here. So H-O-T, Jordan shooting his textbook jumper. Same thing on the back. H, giant green O, T down here, sort of behind Jordan's left butt cheek. Was Michael really gone for more than 18 months? It took him exactly 1 game to reestablish his dominance last year. He leads the NBA's most potent offense this year. Back indeed. And you can see Jordan's first year back, for God's sakes. Come on. Those are career numbers. Okay, I was about to say 51%. First of all, people forget how good a shooter he was because he could do so many other things proficiently and to the extreme. But the dude was taking millions and billions and zillions, especially late in his career, of contested pull-up 2s and or post fadeaway 2s, right? Not wide open 3s like in today's NBA or layups or dunks like in today's pace and space NBA. He was doing this in an era where it was just difficult to get clean looks. And even into his later years, the dude maintained his career field goal percentage over 50%, which is just preposterous for a guard during that era. And averaging over 1.02 blocks a game going into the 95 seasons, also pretty absurd for somebody who plays the shooting guard position and was usually guarding the other team's best player. So it wasn't like he was sagging and getting a whole bunch of off-the-ball blocks. So the Hot List 8 I picked up, not an expensive card there. Here's a card I really like, and we actually talked about it. Josh Dawson and I talked about this card in great detail last night. I think this is a hidden gem in the Jordan insert world. It's the 95 Skybox Premium Standouts Hobby, not Hobby Standouts, Standouts Hobby. It's just gold foil. It's got Del Curry guarding Jordan. If you kind of zoom in, you can see he's almost standing on an embossed pedestal down there wearing his all black 11s. He's palming the ball like a grapefruit, like everybody knows he could do. Just deciding what the hell to do. He's not even looking at Del Curry because he's absolutely irrelevant in any way, shape, or form regarding what Jordan decides to do on this particular possession. Because A, Del Curry couldn't guard his shadow, and B, Michael Jordan couldn't be guarded by anybody, let alone a catch and shoot like Del Curry. It's a little beat up here on the edges. These cards are very, very difficult to grade. Very difficult to grade, which yields an extremely paltry number of PSA 10 copies out there of this card. Even after a 21-month hiatus from the NBA, Air proved that he can still play the game better than anyone else ever has. A good looking back on that card, too. It's card number SH1 from the Standouts Hobby. I encourage you guys to go look at this particular card. It's a really interesting card. I actually picked up 2 raw copies of this card at the National for pennies. I mean, 25, 30 bucks, something like that. I'm going to run them up the flagpole with PSA. PSA 8 is kind of the standard go-to, and a lot of the reason is the flecking of this gold foil on the front, although this copy looks great from the front. And then on the back, you get these edges where it kind of crumbles and crushes. You can see up there in that top left just how beat up that is. That's how this card went from a 10 to an 8 because the front looks good. The corners aren't terrible. You got some whitening down there, bottom left, maybe a little bit on the corners. Again, these PWCC images are so high def, it's very difficult to hide anything. Even PSA 10s can sometimes look like they have worse edge wear than they do, but that's noticeable, and that's how it gets to a PSA 8, and that's why it's a super affordable card, but a great card nonetheless. Next on the list, a card I'm not super familiar with, but when doing the Michael Jordan hierarchy project, as I got down into the weeds of these over almost 200 cards, let's see, what's 8 times? Yeah, over 200 cards in Tier 4. Ran across this, and again, I'm back in the year 1995, 3 cards in a row, right? The 95 Collector's Choice is low end as low end gets, but it's the Players Cup Platinum parallel, which is pretty rare and a pretty tough pull, pretty tough pack odds. It's a PSA 8, which you guys know I'm collecting 8s and 10s, and now I've started collecting 9s on some of the harder pack odds cards. And then Jordan's being guarded by the great Dunbar, Baltimore Dunbar High School, David Wingate, who also attended the University of Georgetown and played on some legendary college basketball teams and had a, sort of a journeyman's NBA career, nothing crazy special. The back is kind of neat and vibrant right here, talking about Jordan. Again, all these 95 cards are going to be talking about Jordan picking up where he left off. In the first sentence, Michael Jordan picked up where he had left off before his retirement, rewriting the history of the NBA playoffs. In Game 3, he posted highs in points, minutes, rebounds, blocks, steals, creating a defensive nightmare. The Bulls continued to acclimatize the United Center to the playoff zone. So that's a Jordan Players Platinum. Just a cool card. Another one of those cards where they've kind of black and white out the background, almost like the Nestle Crunch Time. And then Jordan's, vibrant in color in the foreground. So I like how they do that on some of these cards. They do that on some really cool, really big Jordan cards as well. This is not a big one, just a little one right there. And then one of the ugliest cards in the game. I had to pick it up, though. It's one of the gold signatures. It's also from 1994 Collector's Choice. Of course, Jordan's playing golf in this picture with a bunch of, fans in the background. It is a gold signature variation right there, as you can see. Profiles. It's card number 204. It's a PSA 8. I don't necessarily love the aesthetics of this card, but as a Jordan collector, you pick up the beautiful cards. You pick up, sometimes the more scarce cards that are not that aesthetically pleasing, and that's what this one is. The regular old golf card is like a 10-cent card. The gold signature parallel gets a little pricier, a little more expensive, and a little bit tougher pack odds, tougher to pull. Then a card I do care about, and I should have pulled up my pairing because I also own a copy of this card in a BGS 9.5, which is a pretty big deal. I think there's like 10 or 12 PSA 10 copies of this card. This is the 1997 SPX die-cut gold. There are various Jordan SPX cards from 1997. So when you're searching, you got to be very specific. This is the SPX die-cut gold parallel, very difficult condition wise. I think we talked about this card as well last night. If I'm not mistaken, we talked about this card on Tier 4 Part 1. So Tier 4, page 8 of the Michael Jordan Hierarchy Project. This one definitely made the list. It's in Tier 4. It's not a Tier 3 card, I don't think, in my opinion. It's a 1 in 850 pack odds, which sounds like a lot, but by Jordan standards, it's really not. And then SPX has got so many variations, it just kind of pulls it back into Tier 4, so probably not a Tier 3 card. Very tough card. Like, you're going to see cards in Tier 4, the Jordan Hierarchy Project, that if they grade a PSA 10, they're just freaking huge cards. Huge cards. Like, some of them are 5-figure cards. Yes, $10,000 cards in Tier 4 if they grade in a PSA 10, gem mint slab. So this one's cool. And this is something Josh showed me. You can't tell on a 2D image, but if you swivel the card in the hologram area right here, Jordan actually winks at you as you turn it, right? Which makes this a really, really cool card right here. And then a great action pose over here. Very tough to grade, super pointy over here, especially on these gold edges, and just as intricately and strangely die cut. It looks like a spaceship. I just say it all the time. SPX cards look like little 2D spaceships to me. They're interesting. I like them probably more than most, but some people like them more than me. But SPX is just a very unique product. When you see an SPX card, you know it. You know what I'm saying? I reached on that one too. I think I pulled that one up actually. Yeah, I paid $186. Here's the last sales before mine: $128, $155, $160, $153. So I overpaid by 10 or 20%. If you keep going back, they hit $276 back here. But in all fairness, I reached a little bit on that card. I just wanted to complete the pairing, and I should have created a link and showed you my BGS 9.5, but I do have the 9.5 and the 8, so I've got the high end covered. I've got the low end covered. So again, that's the second card that I overpaid for. And then the last one, I overpaid for this card as well. It's the Nemesis card, or Nemesis. I don't know how you pronounce the plural version of Nemesis. I know Nemesis is Nemesis, but I don't know if Nemesis is pronounced Nemesis. Let's go with it. It's Jordan versus Dumars, the only player on the Pistons that I ever liked. Joe Dumars is pictured in the background on the front, and then Jordan is pictured in the background on the back. And it basically just talks about their matchup, right? Jordan versus Dumars. One from Mike on November 11th, 1992. He drained a 30-foot J for 3 of his 37 points as the overtime ending buzzer sounded to shock Detroit 98-96. Wow. In overtime, the score was 98-96, just to show you how different the game was played in the 1990s, especially the early 90s. And then chalk one up for Joe. Joe also pumped the Pistons to a 2-point win with 27 points and 5 assists while holding Jordan to 11 for 25 shooting. And then they kind of show you the matchup between those two guys in 1992. Of course, Jordan won 4 out of 5, averaged 10 more points, the same assists, and he didn't shoot threes as much as Dumars. But basically, it's just a card about Dumars versus Jordan. And I think Dumars is one of those defenders, and I don't want to go too far here, but Jordan respected Dumars not only as a player, but as a professional, and most people did. Of all the people on that team that everybody on earth hated, including Lambeer and Isaiah Thomas and James Edwards and John Sally and especially Rick Mahorn and, Rodman back in the day. I mean, one of the dirtiest teams ever. You'll hear me over and over. I hated that team. I hated every player on that team, but I highly respected Joe Dumars. Also, I didn't mind Vinnie Johnson. He didn't seem as much of a dirty trash player as the others, but Joe Dumars got my ultimate respect. Just an absolute true professional and class act from the jump. I don't think he had a great career as a GM in the NBA, but that's not uncommon because neither did the other guy on this card, Michael Jordan, who's now no longer even an owner of the Charlotte Hornets. It sounds like he's been bought out. So I reached for this one too, guys. By the way, it's a 1 in 180 pack odds. This is my pickup right here for $62. Ignore this one. That's the members only, but that's a PSA 8 members only. Those are really rare. $275. Somebody really paid for that one. But I picked up this PSA 8 for $62. It's also sold for $41, $40, $40, $38, $38. So I overpaid for it. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like $20. Give me the card. Let's get it in the, in the vault. Let's get it in the collection. Let's get it over with. Let's move along and not squabble over $15, $20. I think it's a good card. It's a 1 in 180 pack odds. So that does it, guys. That's pretty much it. Nothing crazy sexy. Obviously, yesterday's mail day had some serious bangers in there. The biggest pickup in this one's probably an off-centered, slightly greening Class Axe Atomic Refractor PSA 7. I told you from the beginning, I'm very transparent. If I overpay for a card, I tell you. If I pick up a card at what I think is a discount, I tell you. If I pick up a card that looks perfect, I tell you. If I overpay for a card that's off-center and slightly greening, clearly I tell you. So that's just kind of the way I do things. A lot of the people that I ran into up in Rosemont at the National said the one thing they appreciate about my channel is I tell the truth, whether it's good or bad. I just deliver the news, and people kind of respect me for that. And I think that's why sometimes people like coming along with me on my collecting journey. I mean, this is just a video about me and what I'm doing, but I think people really kind of gravitate to these mail day videos because I'm just giving you my general honest thoughts. And and if I could undo that PSA 7 Atomic Refractor purchase, I probably would, because I picked up a raw copy at the National for $200 that looks 50 times better than the one I just showed you. So I may be trying to flip that Class Axe Atomic Refractor PSA 7 to somebody who wants it, and I'll probably take a loss on it, because I think this one that I'm about to send, I'm pointing over here because I got a big stack of Jordans that I need to send to PSA, clean off and send a PSA. I think I'm probably going to do better on that one. Might pick up PSA 8 or even a 9, which would be great, because I bought it off a dealer up there in raw condition in a 2-piece mag, and it looks good to me. It looks like a PSA 8, maybe PSA 9 in a perfect world. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it. Mail day number 99. I appreciate you guys watching so much. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, there's 4 ways to do it. I'm not going to go through them all. PWCC is a big part of what I do. PWCC is a big auction platform that I highly recommend you guys looking into as far as buying cards and or selling your cards through consignment. It makes it real easy. If you're sick of putting in titles, if you're sick of the eBay authenticity guarantee, if you're sick of just listing stuff on eBay yourself, consider consigning with PWCC, and they'll put your cards into the PWCC Weekly Auction or the PWCC Premier Auction. If you have any questions about how that's done, just let me know. If you ever submit cards to PWCC, whether to put them in your vault, which is free to create, by the way, or to sell on the auction platform, make sure you use the promo code Cajun, all caps, C-A-J-U-N. I could not make it any simpler. Even people from Louisiana like me can understand that. C-A-J-U-N if you submit cards to sell. If you ever buy from PWCC, even if you've always been buying from PWCC through their weekly or their fixed price marketplace or the Premier, go into my YouTube description, click on my affiliate link, save it as your new PWCC link, and then every time you go in and buy stuff on PWCC, you'll be supporting the Cajun Cardboard channel. It's my way of avoiding subscription fees, Patreon, locking people out. I want to make my content available to anybody and everybody that wants to watch it, because I think that's important, and you guys are my outlet to the hobby. And so for me to keep everything relatively free, ad-free, no Viagra or Cialis ads with naked old people in the tubs in the middle of my videos, or selling prescription drugs from Big Pharma, or political ads in the middle of my stuff. I don't want all that crap to get in and messy up what is pure hobby content. If you guys like that and you think there's value to that, those are 2 ways that you can support my channel without actually taking money out of your pocket and giving it to me, is by using the PWCC affiliate link and the promo code. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I hope you had a great week. I hope you had a great weekend and enjoy these mail days. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.